Hello, good afternoon. So we will be talking about how we work on startups. And the most important question that people in startups face is whether you should be bootstrapping the business or whether you should be taking on external funding. This question is most definitely a make or break for every startup company. And that is why this needs to be answered before you actually start a business. For all the entrepreneurs that actually start a business, it is not just a business for them, it is their dream, it is their livelihood, and it is their passion. It is very important when they take on external funding that the external funders should have the same vision and can actually see the same goals that the startup founder is actually seeing. If the founder's goals and the vision is different from the external funding person, it really makes a lot of chaos, and that is what breaks businesses. We will be looking right now at the 5 major points which actually a startup founder should be looking at when he decides whether he should be bootstrapping his business or whether he should be taking on VC funding. So of course, the first and the most important point is, why is this funding required? The funding is required for the growth of the company, or for marketing expenses, or for the seed capital. In that, my opinion always is, a company which is starting from the seed stage should be bootstrapping their business till they reach a Series A. They should be looking at a Series A funding from external vendors only after they have had a POC and after they meet scale. First and foremost, they need to meet scale, and only once they do that is when they can actually be taking on external investors. Any external investor taken on in the initial stages, the seed stage, really kills the business, because the business initially can go in many directions, and those directions keep changing when the external funding does come on. The second most important point is the control of ownership. So there is no doubt that every founder will have to dilute himself to a level of minority in the end. How much dilution should happen initially and how much dilution should happen in the end is very, very important. What really matters over here is that every founder should always look to maintain control as long as he can. So what we look at when we look at a startup foundation, we see the business going towards 5 or 6 directions. And how that helps is that everything has to be done on proof of concept, because you really never know what clicks and what works in the market. Amazon had changed their business model almost 25 times before they understood that books is what they wanted to get into. Of course, Amazon today is not a book company at all. So we realize that companies change their course and change the direction over the period of time. What matters is the startup founder should only and only give up control after the foundation is really, really clear. The third most important point is the requirements of the funding and the network. So there are 2 kinds of investors that we look at. When we look at VCs, they are called smart money. When we look at just money, it's called dumb money. What founders should really be looking at is, when they're taking on investors, is it smart money or dumb money? Dumb money should always be ignored at every stage of investing. What startup founders should really be looking for is not to be in a hurry for the foundation of the company, but to make sure that smart money is entering the company. Smart money entering the company not only creates a brand value for the company, increases the valuation of the company, creates a growth model for the company, and most importantly, smart money does what nobody else can do for a startup founder, is fill in the gaps. Every startup founder is specialized or expertised in one particular angle of a business and does not necessarily understand the marketing side, the accounting side, the financial side of the business. What really smart money does is fill in those gaps which the founder himself could not fill in. So when we look at the 4th most important point is, in smart money, we also have to look at the credibility that is brought in by the VC or the smart money person that is bringing in the external funding. How does smart money bring in credibility? What it does is, if a big VC is backing your firm, there'll be a lot of dumb money at a much higher valuation ready to invest in you. How does a startup founder actually come in and pitch to a VC is by far the most important thing. What a founder should be looking at is, Hiring a consultant before going to a VC. What that does is your pitch deck is VC pitch deck. Really, it really makes a huge difference when your pitch deck is suitable for a VC. Because once you're there and once your VC funding is there, the credibility that brings into the business and then the amount of valuation that you can get in is enormous. It makes a huge difference on the business. So I would really recommend that every startup founder should be looking for smart money rather than dumb money and not go for the valuation game immediately. The most important thing is the point number 5 is extra resources. So like I said, smart money does fill in the gaps, but also a lot of times smart money filling the gaps creates a lot of problems. So once the accounting team, the marketing team, or any other team that the founder is looking for is bought in by the smart money, a lot of things that the founder did not want in the company are being bought about in the company. So really the resources should be well defined when signing a deal with an external vendor. So when it comes to actually taking on external money, the resources to be utilized from the external financer have to be defined in the contract. Most founders always look at the VCs as a trust bank. That's where they go wrong. So we should always, any founder should always be looking at having everything written on paper. The most important thing, whether it's investing or starting your own company or having to even grow your company, should always be to have a very, very clear vision. A very clear vision makes it very easy for the founder to be very sure that whether it's external funding or it's bootstrapping, it's very, very important that he actually does know where the company has to go. Milestones have to be met, and that is the major reason why people are forced into external financing. How that helps or how that really goes wrong is, of course, every company's luck and then really how the company does fare. So to conclude, I would really like to say, if you are a founder of a startup company, it's very important to decide whether you want to bootstrap your business or take on external funding. Having a very clear roadmap to your business really determines the success of your business. Take your time in making sure that you have the right model in place. Even if it takes a year extra, it takes a year and a half extra, please go that extra mile, do that extra effort, because taking on wrong investors or going very slow in a market can really make or break the business. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.